away to the quiet captivity of a desk and predetermined answers. We discussed Alethia's paintings and poems and our 2-year-old son Kaya's transgressive development. We recalled instances when we felt like we were swimming against the tide, when our parents chastised us for denying our children the comprehensive education we had received, and when it felt easier to outsource our children to an anonymous system so troublingly connected to the militaristic motivations of nation-states. Lingering at the threshold of a send button, a panoramic vision of our journey flashed before our eyes, reinforcing the familiar convictions, old friends we knew. Our unschooling journey was a decolonial path of fugitivity, a matter of more than racial justice, a matter of ecological transformation, a yearning beyond the wet dreams of progress and development, a cartographical pilgrimage into the cracks opening in a civilization that never worked for Black and brown bodies like ours, an intergenerational project that was as lengthy as the Middle Passage, as seditious as the undercommons the New World slaves seeded with samba rhythms, with Santerian spiritualities, with Rastafarian syncretism, with Gayap economic principles, and with Calypso. Our work was a desire to leave the plantation that produces questions like, but is this the right thing to do? When we hit send and dispatched our carefully worded responses to those journalists, an invisible thread of kinship and mutual fugitivity connecting us across distances to the prophetic wisdoms of our sister Akilah Richards glowed seductively. And yes, Akilah writes, sings, remembers, whispers, spits, screams, cusses, and speaks with the studious and raw eloquence of a prophet. Not someone who predicts the future or lectures about doom, but someone who knows that the thick now is richer than the prevailing myths of our time allows us to think. Someone who knows that our children, the invisible ones we must now mount expeditions to meet again, are key to our own many-mission. This book, capably curated with the craftsmanship of a pilgrim mother who stands at a crossroad calling for new paths to be boldly trod, is one in a pantheon of texts reminding us that enchantment is not in short supply, that learning happens everywhere, that this moment when our children are temporarily released from their incarceration in studenthood is a moment of opportunity to study, in the Fred Moten sense of the word, the troubling complicity of mainstream schooling and public education systems with colonialism. That forward movement is no longer possible, and we must go awkwardly into playful paths by allowing our children to lead the way. There is something endearingly criminal and Robin Hood-esque about Akilah's thesis in this book about raising people. The first time I met her, at an unschooling unconference in Johannesburg, I could not take my eyes off her and her beautiful family. Akilah reminded me of my dear sister Tito. Chris, Akilah's husband, towered above everyone else at that gathering and did not ring any bells of resemblance, but he certainly reminded me of a certain gentle Kryptonian of popular comic lore. It was more than familial resemblances that attracted me to Akilah. She spoke with the eloquence of the everyday. She refused to disconnect her quest to understand the architectural injustices of our world from the way she was co-parenting her daughters. Her daughters, Marley and Sage, whose stories shimmer throughout this book, were fierce in their independence. I remember being proud of them. When we were introduced to each other, I heard stories of this wonderful Jamaican-American family of 4, their enchanted nomadicity, their experiments in thwarting the deadening effects of modernity, and their inquiry into freedom. Akilah was powerful and direct when she spoke. Her power was tucked well within the folds of her calming and unassuming presence. I would later learn about how this Jamaican woman, this once stellar student and brilliant achiever, learned the hard way that no matter how hard she excelled in a